The days of future past are about to become the present, and as two generations of X-Men prepare to clash on the big screen, we began reminiscing on our favorite excellent adventures from this current gen all the way back to the NES. We considered two major factors with each nominated game. It had to be quality, obviously, but it also had to bring the world of X-Men to life in a way the usual licensed rubbish can't match. If you're in the mood for mutants, here are 10 games that will make you feel like the most powerful heroes on the planet.
Number 10. X-Men Legends.
Despite their innate appeal, action RPGs with 4-player co-op are uncannily uncommon. In 2004, Raven Software dared to add X-Men to this genre, and the result is astonishing. X-Men Legends has swappable characters with meaningful ability progressions, unique combo attacks depending on your party selection, and a first-class story from comic book pros. Above all else, the game allows us to go on an entire large-scale X-Men adventure with 3 other friends, in one house. A them.
You X-Men could stand to gain a few pounds.
Number 9. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse.
Capcom developed this underrated beat-em-up in the mid-1990s for the SNES. Beautiful sprite animations and tight gameplay are bolstered by 5 playable characters, each with unique stages and abilities. Beast could hang to just about any surface, offering unique gameplay opportunities, while fan favorites like Wolverine and Gambit were equipped with their iconic blades and cards. Epic showdowns with Omega Red, Juggernaut, Apocalypse, and ultimately Magneto make this one of the most well-rounded and satisfying 16-bit X-Men games.
Number 8. X-Men Children of the Atom.
Magneto plans to unleash a massive electromagnetic pulse, ending civilization as we know it and creating a new world dominated by mutants. Villains like Omega Red and Juggernaut are totally down. Heroes like Wolverine and Psylocke want to stop it. The solution? Everybody beats each other up Capcom style. This playable fighter pioneered the basic style of gameplay that would form the backbone of Capcom's Versus series, staging hard-hitting, high-flying fights between very obviously superpowered individuals. Children of the Atom doesn't just show respect for the source material, it shows love. This one's for you, Morph.
You win.
Number 7. X-Men.
The X-Men had dabbled in platforming before this Genesis release, often with disastrous results, but with Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Gambit, and of course Wolverine as playable characters, blasting, bamfing, throwing, and snicking across a wide range of levels ripped from the comics and set in the Danger Room, this X-Men game delivered a terrific blend of mutant mayhem. Other X-Men could be summoned for screen-clearing support, boosting the roster, while the evil Mojo posed one of the craziest console puzzles of all time. But really, the best part was that the heroes actually felt like heroes, with their powers intact, a vital part that had been missing from X-Men platformers thus far.
Number 6. LEGO Marvel Superheroes.
LEGO Marvel is of course goofier by nature. You're playing as toy versions of the X-Men rather than their truer selves. However, this game has some of the best representations of each character's powers, and the conceit of "it's just Lego" also allows you greater freedom of what to do with these abilities. Cyclops can blast anywhere he wants without a meter recharging. Phoenix can fly wherever her heart desires. Emma Frost can be invincible. Beast can actually utilize his intelligence. Wolverine can tear his allies apart, and they'll happily reappear like nothing happened. And if you are so inclined, you can slowly cruise around all of New York in the Magneto-mobile. So yes, this game is almost everything you could ever want.
Get a load of this guy.
Ooh.
Number 5. X-Men Next Dimension.
The X-Men and their adversaries have starred in many excellent fighting games, but Mutant Academy was the first to have them duke it out in 3D via sidestepping like Tekken or Dead or Alive. After a mediocre sequel, Mutant Academy evolved into Next Dimension, and its power greatly increased. Characters can be knocked around multi-level stages and sneak in special moves that obliterate their opponents. From the voice acting to the diverse roster, it celebrates the uniqueness of these characters more than most games with an X in the title.
Number 4. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
The movie may not be anything special, but Wolverine's 2009 action game turned out to be surprisingly fun. Most notably, it's one of the few times that the adamantium-clawed character hasn't been sanitized. With a full M rating, the development team gave players the freedom to unleash their rage with over-the-top combat and shocking finishing moves. Treating enemies like pincushions, slashing them in half, and impaling them on the environment is a guilty but satisfying pleasure. And Logan shows off his extreme healing ability, regrowing huge chunks of flesh ripped out of him by enemy attacks.
Number 3. X-Men Legends 2.
Which way?
There.
X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse features a truly memorable tale. The titular mutant is so powerful, it forced the heroic X-Men to team up with their longtime rivals, the Brotherhood, in an uneasy alliance. The isometric brawler lets you fully customize each mutant's abilities, and as you level up, more options become available. Up to 4 players can mix combos online or locally, like Juggernaut throwing Wolverine as a missile and Magneto trapping enemies for Cyclops to blast. The epic globe-trotting adventure culminates in an all-out brawl for the fate of the human race against villains like Mr. Sinister and the big bad himself, Apocalypse.
You ain't seen the last of me!
Number 2. X-Men Arcade.
There are actually 2 versions of this classic arcade beat-em-up, and if you've ever been lucky enough to get your hands on the 6-joystick, 2-screen behemoth that put this game on the map, then your gaming DNA was rewritten just a bit. The game lets you step into the rockin' 90s animated series and unload your powers on a stampede of iconic bosses. X-Men in the arcade first proved that these mutants work best as a team, so multiplayer for this series is now almost always a must.
Alas, that was Mystique, not Magneto. Magneto is in another place. Go, X-Men!
Number 1. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, The New Age of Heroes.
Shock! It's Marvel, baby! The number 1 entry on this list is also the craziest. This game might mix the X-Men up with the Street Fighters and Darkstalkers, but you won't find cooler versions of Marvel's X-iest men and women outside of Capcom's famed and acclaimed Versus series. And with more than any other game in the series, including X-Men vs. Street Fighter, the Marvel 2 roster is loaded with card-carrying, X-wearing characters, free to use their incredible powers to beat the crap out of each other in ways that would never happen in comics or most other games. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 gets what makes the X-Men great: power, excess, and style.